Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Stephen Anderson, and welcome to Hashtag Steve's Tea Podcast. This is the second episode where me and Phil are just going to jump right back into our conversation. If you haven't listened to the first episode, go back and listen to that. It's on YouTube under Hashtag Steve's Tea, or you can find it on Mixcloud under the same name. Thanks a lot. Let's jump right in. Right, I'm gonna jump into this rant.
Right.
Before it gets too big, right?
Okay, right.
Now-
You've been talking about this. You talked about this before we started. What is this big rant about?
Right. Now, first I'm going to have to go up to the Avengers, right? You're in and out of the Avengers. You saw the movie.
I liked the movie. I thought it was a good movie, but I thought its hype was way too big. Like, it was one of those movies that got hyped up so much, I'm like, it disappointed me in that it wasn't fucking a game-changing movie.
Yeah.
It was just a really big, really good movie.
See, I was the opposite because I'm like, all the other films I was thinking, I don't even want to see Iron Man. Like, even though Iron Man, I was a fan of him as a child, but I was just like, when it was coming out, I was like, I don't want to see Iron Man. I don't want to see a real life Iron Man. That would be so boring. He's not going to go in the armor to like an hour and a half in or something, which was kind of right. Like, when I watched Iron Man 1 again, I'm like, he only really becomes Iron Man, and then like for a good maybe 45 minutes, that's when he becomes Iron Man like 3 times in the film. But
This
it's
is the
still
whole
good.
pre-Iron Man thing.
Yeah.
Where he's coming up with all the tech and shit in the fucking dungeony cave thing.
But see, it's because this is that point where I didn't really respect the actors enough to pay attention to the actors, and I went right into, like, when I watched Spider-Man 1 as well, like, I didn't really care about the rest. I only cared about him being Spider-Man. Fuck everything else.
Yeah, because when you're younger, especially,
Yeah.
you're a fan of the character. You couldn't give two shits about the actors.
Yeah.
But you want Spider-Man fucking whipping through the sky, whatever.
But the one thing, like, the thing that Marvel did is so genius, is they've managed to make a universe, like, more than anyone's ever done. Like, they've done enough things for them to give them the right to do whatever they want with it.
They've clearly made enough money.
They could do anything, and I would
I think
happily...
pretty much everyone involved in the production of the Avengers could probably retire on the wage
Yeah,
they got after that
pretty much.
movie.
I know Robert Downey Jr. would, at least, because he did the Jack Nicholson deal.
Yeah, well, fucking.
From the
Wouldn't
Batman
you
films.
though? If you
Oh
were...
hell yeah! I mean, like, I'm amazed. Not every bloody actor does this.
Like, I mean, he was almost gone. People had fucking written him off, and then he fucking comes back like that, and you're just like, I'm gonna fucking take advantage of this now.
I mean, I wish I'd done more about Robert Downey Jr. when Iron Man first came out, because I didn't really properly watch the Marvel films until Iron Man 2, and that was only because it was a friend's birthday party, and they were like, let's go see a film. So I didn't really. It wasn't like a choice. I wouldn't like fucking Iron Man film. I didn't want to see that fucking first one, but I went into it, and I actually liked it. Everyone else hated the second one, but I liked it because I didn't see the first one.
I didn't see the second. I watched like the first 10-15 minutes of the second one. Got distracted by something, and I was like, "Fuck it, I'll watch it later." Never watched it.
Right, how about you tell us what films you did see of the Marvel Universe?
Right, I saw the first Iron Man, and I saw the Avengers, and I saw Thor,
Right, okay.
and that was it. Right.
See, that they are kind of the main ones. As long as you see Thor, basically, you know who the bad guy is.
Yeah.
And that, I mean...
But to be fair, it's pretty self-explanatory within the film. To be honest, The Avengers is one of those movies that you could have watched none of the other movies, and it tells you enough about all the characters that you're into the story.
Yeah.
And that's the mark of a good film.
See, yeah. But see, like, when I first... this is also bringing up Regent again. Regent was the place that I went to see Avengers, and I waited till the midnight showing. I had no interest at first. Like, I watched Iron Man 2, and I enjoyed that. I didn't watch Thor, because I'd never been a fan of Thor in the first place, and I was like, what's this guy going to bring to Thor that I'm never going to like? Again, fucking mistake.
Yeah.
Captain America... Again, I didn't like him, but then again, I was never his target audience, really.
Yeah, exactly.
Captain America was never about...
very aimed at Americans.
Yeah, like he was never... It was never about... I mean, yeah, he's fighting for freedom of the world and that. He's not just like... He's not really just about America. Maybe, like, back in the 40s he was, but, like...
When he's punching Hitler in the face,
yeah,
he was.
More modern Captain America now is really just about everyone who is free to be free and things like that. But I was never really a fan of him. Never got into him. And especially when they told me the guy who was playing Johnny Storm in Fantastic Four was playing him, I was never like, whoa, let's go right into that.
He looks like he was playing himself when he was playing the Fantastic Four guy.
Yeah.
But then you watch him as Captain... Well, I mean, I watched him as Captain America in Avengers.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's pretty fucking good to me. Like,
Yeah, they did the great thing where they put all these extra things at the end of the credits. So you might just have went to see the cinema just for those end credits. I know that they went there specifically knowing that there'd be something at the end and was like, right, let's go see this film, wait till the end, more Avengers nonsense. Wait until it. And, Iron Man 2 I saw at the cinema, and I didn't see any other film in the cinema until Avengers. But by that time they'd all come out on DVD, so I rented Thor and stuff, and I was just like, oh, what was I thinking? I should have seen this ages ago. I'm kind of glad I didn't though, because it did build me up more for Avengers. But when Avengers, even when the trailer came out, again, even though after all these mistakes, I was still like, I'm not really wanting to see this film. It's just I'll wait for Dark Knight Rises because I was more of a Batman fan than them.
Yeah.
And then the tables obviously turned. So when Avengers came out on the midnight showing, I went there and I keep changing this story, but when I do think about it, I do think it is one of my favourite films of all time. For me, everything about it was right. The writing was perfect. For Joss Whedon, a guy who, whenever he makes films, in particular, nothing really turns out good. Serenity, that was a good film, but that was from his Firefly show.
Yeah, that was based on this show.
Alien Resurrections that he wrote. I don't know if he directed.
He wrote that?
He wrote that. And
I actually really enjoyed Alien Resurrections.
See, I did as well at first, and then I'd sort of joined on the bandwagon after everyone said it was terrible. And then I looked at it compared to other films, and I shouldn't really do that. If you compare a film to another film, of course it's not going to lead up to the good film. You can't compare Alien Resurrections to Aliens because no one's going to win. That was a classic, and then there's this one. So Alien Resurrections, now that I look at it, is a good film, but to other people that didn't do well.
I think it's because people I think with the Alien example at least,
yeah.
The first film gave you this very specific haunted feeling.
Yeah.
And then the second film was much more expansive.
Mm.
And then it kept on being this more expansive story. And I think people were just fed up with that. I think people Aliens did really well.
Mm.
But then after that, everyone seems to hate the other two, and what's the problem?
My only problem with Alien 3 is just because it's they did a great thing by going from one alien to a bunch of aliens, and then went back to one alien again. And you only see one alien in Alien 3, and it's a dog alien, and they born from a dog kind of thing.
It's but that's the thing as well, is that it's just showing you a different aspect of the story. I mean, especially if they're building if they're trying to build a universe beyond the if they're fuck it, we want to turn this what used to be one really well made film into a franchise. We have to find different ways to tell the story, because if they'd done it the same way as they'd done 1 or 2, then it would have been fucking hated for being the same as either 1 or 2.
Yeah, you got a point. That's true. But yeah, when I went to see Avengers, everything, I loved everything. I loved the script. I loved the fact that all the characters were done right. Hulk couldn't pick up Thor's hammer, and I'm sitting there going I can't do it. It's so amazing. And there was a part where I thought there was a part where I thought that Thor wasn't going to come in till near the end, because there was a point where it was getting so far. I read this comic called The Ultimates. It's the ultimate version of the Avengers, basically. Right. And on the first comic, Thor doesn't really come in to help them until the end. And I thought, is that going to happen with this? It's Loki. Surely Thor will be involved. I've seen him in the trailers, but then again, those trailers could easily come in the last half hour or so in the film, for all I know.
I mean, to be fair, man, I saw the trailer for Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban when I was younger, and I thought that movie was going to be the best movie of the whole lot. And it turns out to be the second worst, so,
It's actually kind of weird when I think about it, because I went to see every Harry Potter film at the cinema, and I didn't even realise. I went through it, and I was I've seen every one of them.
Have you read the books?
And I didn't at first. I didn't start reading the books properly until... Well, actually, I think it was the third film I started reading them, and I got up to the fourth book.
If you don't read the books, the only bad film is 6. But if you read the books, 3's pretty terrible as well.
Yeah.
But 6 was weird because they did this thing where they had a lot of the actual main plot was accurate, but they rushed past it all. They rushed past all of this really important plot stuff, and they only had 1, maybe 2 flashbacks of the Voldemort memories shit.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm that's fucking bullshit.
Even in the trailer, they were all this is a big fucking moment! And then they're
the only moment we show! Again, that was an example. That was an example of the trailer being fucking telling you the only thing. But they turned Harry Potter 6 into this fucking romantic comedy drama thing, and I'm like, that's not what it is. I mean, fair enough. They're in high school. They're teenagers. There is elements of that. There is pretty heavy subplots to do with the romantic relationships, but like, to get rid of all this plot, so much of the plot is gone that they cut out the Dursleys for the second time in the series, which is always a mistake. But like, they got rid of all this plot stuff to tell this fucking, bullshit teen angst story. I'm like, the teen angst should be in the background of the main plot.
Yeah.
Because 6 is what builds you to the fucking climax of 7.
Exactly.
6 is the one that's setting up, like, we're going on a treasure hunt, Dumbledore's gonna fucking, spoiler alert, die.
If you haven't heard it on any internet, any books, any movies,
exactly.
if you haven't heard this yet.
Just in case you missed it, Dumbledore fucking snuffs it. And I'm just like, all of that stuff was rushed. They didn't do the Dursley bit where fucking they explained Sirius's will was found, and like you've got the Dursleys being all like, "Oh, he's been left a house, has he? Yes." And like,
if I'm being honest, actually, now that you've mentioned it, I actually forgot that Dumbledore died in the film. Like, it actually,
because it's just one.
It just goes right past
It's
you.
just like Severus, and then Severus Snape fucking Avada Kedavra's him, and then he just falls off the thing, and they move on. They move on to the next. And I'm like, there's this whole thing, and and that bit where they're all raising their wands and shit. I'm like, fuck your cheesy bullshit. Look, he dies. He's a human. He just fucking fell and died.
You know what?
Leave it be.
My problem with that, right, is because in Harry Potter 6, now that you've mentioned it, because when Harry Potter is like, he's hiding away and he sees Dumbledore get killed.
Yes.
And like, now he's seen people get killed before in that close family and friends to him. Fucking Sirius Black and shit, spoilers. Like, so obviously he's gonna, like, I would think he's gonna go fucking rage. He's not gonna sit there and like run away and be like, I should stand back and not let him. Even though Dumbledore's like, don't do anything.
No, but you see, the thing is, in the book, Dumbledore, instead of like defending himself against Draco, which is how he manages to get disarmed, he fucking petrifies Harry so he can't move.
That would have made more fucking sense, because I was sitting there like...
And it's only when Dumbledore hits the ground that he's freed from the spell, and he can fucking run off and start fighting, which they cut a lot of the fighting out, because they had this weird shitty scene at the fucking burrow, where the burrow gets set on fire, and that didn't even happen in the book!
I love how this rat has gone from talking about the Marvel universe to Harry Potter.
I'm sorry, I'm going to stop talking about Harry Potter, because every time I talk about it, I just get mad. I can't even remember why we started talking about it.
You know what's funny?
I can derail any rant with a rant of my own.
Sorry, I have my friend Chloe who can also go into this rant with you. I just want to get the two of you in a room and just talk about it and get in complete rage.
Just fucking. I actually was going to write a fucking letter. I was going to be like, guys, I've wrote this better version of the script. Give it to you. Quickly film it after you've done Harry Potter 7, and we'll fucking just discount that last one.
That'd be fantastic. Just
that's the thing. I've written so many partial scripts for things that I thought would be really good. Like, I've written a partial script for a movie based on the book The Magician by Raymond D. Feist.
Yeah.
And that's going well. I also, before I heard that they were going to reboot fucking RoboCop, I started writing a RoboCop script, and it was going to be part reboot, but also part sequel. It was going to incorporate the ideas and the elements from the first film.
Yeah.
But like play them out in a different way, because obviously what they had planned in the first film didn't end up being in the second, and whatever else did the fucking bullshit that they made after that.
Anyway, Avengers.
Yes. Anyway, back to the Avengers.
Like, my point I'm trying to make, it's not even about the Avengers. It's just like, I thought that was a great film, and everything about it has been fantastic. That film, even if it hadn't earned them the right in the other films, that film alone earned them the right to do whatever they wanted with the universe.
Yeah, they can pretty much move in any direction they want.
So, of course, then they made Iron Man 3. And to that point, like, apparently everyone loved Iron Man 1, hated Iron Man... Well, not hated. They didn't really like Iron Man 2, and then loved Iron Man 3 again. Now, I'm a fan because I was like, I first got introduced in Iron Man 2, and I loved that. Not a fan... Like, I wasn't at first a fan of Iron Man 1, now I am. And like Iron Man 3, since I've seen that now that it's on DVD and on digital download and things like that, it's fantastic. I love it. And the point is, Iron Man isn't like, he doesn't get in the suit that often. Like, this is such a big change in my life because it's just Robert Downey Jr. is now Iron Man. That's why when they told me after Iron Man 3 that he might not come back for Avengers 2, I refused to see Iron Man 3 until I knew for sure. I'd still watch it eventually, but to know that they, like, some even talk about recasting and stuff, and I'm like, you can't.
You couldn't. You'd have to just kill him off.
You'd have to do something. Like, you didn't have to be the star. Just write him off to a point where maybe he's only in like a scene. Maybe he's just a consultant or something. Maybe War Machine comes in. Someone, you could have just had anything. But anyway, so he's been announced, by the way. He is an Avengers 2.
Because they're coming here for the latest news.
Yeah. But yeah, my main point I want to make is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Right. And this is going to start something that also will go into DC as well, right? Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is that show that started. Now, in the UK, it only started last Friday. The next episode airs today. Today is Friday. I don't know. I don't know if this is going to go up on Friday.
Do people still make that joke anymore? Because that was a long time ago. Now that I think about it,
I know it really is, right? I don't even think. I feel like it was.
It's like, to me, it just happened. But at the end of the day, it was like 2 years ago or something.
I know.
You're like, fucking hell. People move on really quick.
I know, but yeah. So that the second episode is today. Now I'm a spoiler phobe, right? I love
you
to
don't
look
like,
up.
Yeah.
No, I'm the opposite. I like to look. No, wait, sorry,
so you're a spoiler file.
What did I?
You said phobe.
Ignore that. Spoiler file. And I love to get every spoiler I can. It will not affect me watching something at all. You could have told me Dumbledore died, and I'd still watch it. Like, oh, and it'd still probably end up being shocking to me.
Because you're like, how does he die?
Yeah,
you know.
And that's why I think about spoilers. I don't mind someone saying what
Can I
happens.
just make one more point about Harry Potter?
Yeah.
People were getting pissed off that they were showing spoilers of Ron and Hermione kissing. I'm like, the book came out 5 years ago. Come on, guys.
Are they really that surprised? The build-up, are they really not going to show you? For fuck's sake.
Even after that teen angsty bullshit in Sixth, I mean, what was all that for, if not the...
I'm going to add another add-on to that. When we went to see Harry Potter 7 at the cinema, it's part 2, the kids, isn't it? Or is it part 1?
Part 2, yeah.
Yeah, it's part 2. When we went to see part 2 at the cinema, me and that girl Chloe was telling you about, my friend Chloe, we were sitting in the cinema, and this is the perfect moment that I wanted to get up and clap.
Oh, was that when I was there as well? I was there! I forgot you were there! Because I remember I was telling you the story about how I heard somebody say...
Right, well, I'll tell everyone who else doesn't know.
Yes, the people who are listening to the podcast.
When we went to the cinema to see Harry Potter, I forgot the film was there. I was in the back, and I remember seeing you walk into the cinema, and you sat at the front, and I don't even remember. I was shouting and waved, but I know you were there. I don't think you did. Now, at that point where Ron and Hermione kiss, when it happens, there was quiet in the cinema, and all of a sudden, my friend Chloe just shouts out, "It's about fucking time!" And everyone in the cinema starts laughing. And I honestly, that was the minute where I was just like, oh, this deserves a fucking clap. It was like every thought that whoever loved Harry Potter wanted to say in this film, but mastered in one sentence. But it could only be said perfectly by a Scottish person to be like, fucking time!
Exactly.
Actually, you know what? I think I'm being bad. I don't think she said fucking, because obviously I think children were there. But I know she said it's about time.
Man. I'm pretty sure she said it's about fucking time. Because I was there, and I was just like, I fucking cried with laughter. I was just like, I was already on the verge of tears because I knew what was coming up soon, or what had just been, or whatever it was, the Snape stuff. I was like, I was already on the verge of tears, and then this fucker comes out with this line, and I'm just like,
right. Anyway, back to
back to the Avengers.
We keep getting off
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or whatever it's called.
Yeah, when we get caught in nerdy business, we'll get into
tangential conversation.
Right. For Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., that's just coming up on today. I'm going to watch the second episode today. I read reviews, and they're not looking too good. They're doing all right, but people are expecting way more than they should from this show, right?
Well, explain it to me, because I know nothing about it.
I'll explain the first episode. So if you don't want to know what the first episode is, spoilers, go watch it. No, first go watch it, come back to this point in
If it's
in
been
podcast.
a week, I think you're allowed.
Yeah, well, that's fine, right? But now, the first episode. Now, what I should say, from what I've read on the spoilers of this episode coming up, they should have really just put this episode and last week's episode in one. Like, not even. You didn't have to put it as one episode. Just put them, like, you know how like some shows when they put a premiere on, they put on the first 2 episodes.
Yeah.
They should have done that with this, I imagine. From what they're describing me, because what it describes now is the first episode is about assembling the team. The second episode is about them becoming the team, kind of thing. So
yeah, that does seem... Because, I mean, like, I remember Star Trek The Next Generation. I think that's where they started this tradition of having the first episode be a 2-parter thing. But, like, they play it as one episode.
One episode, yeah.
And it's fucking brilliant, because, like, if you had played the 2 episodes of Star Trek TNG 1 week after, like, it wouldn't have worked.
Yeah.
Because there's no logical halfway point. And that's what that sounds like to me. Yeah. That sounds like to me like it's one whole story that has to be seen as a whole. That you can't just have it break halfway through.
See, I also want to see the second episode. Like, I don't want to spoil it, but at the same time, this is not going to go up today. I know that. I know it's going to take me a while to edit anyway. So I'm just going to say it. Nick Fury is in the second episode at the end,
right?
Talking to Coulson, obviously, from what I read, and it sounds like.
So wait, the show's set before all the films?
No, it's set after. That's the thing. That's what I like about it in some way, because it is set. It's now. I know you're confused.
I am confused
because everyone's confused because it's the Joss Whedon, because Joss Whedon's obviously he's wrote it. Now he knows what he's doing with his characters. Like, you know, obviously he didn't do the characters, but he knows what to do with Coulson, because obviously, for everyone who doesn't know, Coulson died in Avengers, or supposedly died. Now we're only given snippets of what has happened to him. What we're being told by him is that he was dead for officially 8 seconds or 40 seconds, whatever one. Apparently he changes it every time. But
that's probably to confuse people even more.
So he says he was dead. Apparently he got taken to medical care after Nick Fury sees him in the film. Like, obviously he tells them they're all dead. But then he gets shipped off to Tahiti, where he spends his time recuperating. Now, the thing about when Tahiti gets mentioned, like, there's a part of, like, the woman who's in How I Met Your Mother. I forgot her name.
I'm just thinking Robin Scherbatsky.
Let's just call her that. Her. She was in the films, and she's in the first episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and she's obviously like talking to Coulson. So, like, she knows that Coulson's alive. Now there's a part where Coulson leaves the room, obviously, and then this doctor who's been in another Joss Whedon stuff, is like in Dollhouse, and I think he's been in Serenity as well, Firefly and Serenity. He's turned to her and is like, he really doesn't know, does he? And she's just like, he can never know. So, like, obviously, already something sinister's going on about his coming back. We don't know whether he's a clone, could be a robot. Well, I think he's a robot. I doubt he's a robot.
Probably more likely to be a clone.
I think he's probably a clone with, like, memories. But whatever it is, he seems to think he's been in Tahiti. And from what the
and that's like a fucking shield code
from the review that I read on the second episode, whenever someone seems to mention Tahiti, he seems to say the phrase, "It's a magical place." Because he says it in the first episode, I know that. But apparently he says it again in the second, apparently. And he says it in a same sort of way. And I'm like, ooh, interesting.
That sounds like hypnotism to me.
That's what I love about it. It already it's got me engaged. I'm watching it very much for Coulson. Everyone, I'm going to go about the complaints now. The complaints everyone's having is, one, some people are complaining because they are making reference to the Avengers, which, how could they not?
It's fucking a whole big part of the thing.
Like, how can you not mention the billion-dollar franchise that has spawned this spin-off? Like, I'd be more pissed off if they'd made it and not said, oh, Iron Man or Tony Stark or Captain America's in this place.
Because if it's all set in the same universe, it has to have mentioned, it has to interlink something.
I mean, obviously, like, when the first interview came out, Joss Whedon did say, I don't want it to be like, I don't want to mention it all the time. Like, I don't want every episode to be like, oh, Tony Stark was here, you just missed him. Yeah. Like, because obviously that'll piss off people. Now,
no, but like, they could always have one or two of them come in as guest stars for, like, individual story arcs within the series.
I was already happy, because, like, I didn't even think we'd get Samuel Jackson that in, but, like, from what I'm hearing, he's definitely in there. Like,
he's going to be a regular? Or?
No, he's just in this episode. Oh. But he could always come back.
Because I thought he would be a good, like, not necessarily a main character, but a regular sort of secondary character that you don't see in every episode, but he comes in every few episodes.
He might still do that. I don't know, because I mean, they're not even started filming Avengers 2 yet. I don't think they start filming that till March or something. So he's got a lot of time to. Yeah. Well,
I'd have to watch it to sort of understand exactly how it all works to make more sense. But
the biggest complaint everyone's having is the characters, because obviously it's based on these other agents, not just Coulson. And I could call him Coulson. It's Coulson. I can't remember all their names because it's only been like one episode I've seen. I need to watch it again to remember them. But these characters, like, there's an agent who's obviously, he's a soldier kind of thing. He doesn't like working with people. He's obviously the moody one.
Right.
The
moody one.
The two scientists. There's an engineer who's Scottish, which I found funny.
Scotty.
Yeah. And there's an English woman who plays. She's another scientist, but she's playing a different kind. I don't know if she's biological or if she's something else. But
I want to know if the Scottish guy is actually played by a Scottish guy.
I don't know.
Because I mean, Scotty was played by a Canadian, and now is played by an Englishman.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
when are we going to hire?
We were talking about Scottish actors being well known. You could have a Scottish actor play Scotty, but no.
But for that, when
not saying anything bad about Simon Pegg, I actually quite like him.
Yeah, I think he did.
He replied to my tweet actually.
For the reviews, they're all talking about these agents because, like, obviously, like the scientists called Fitz and Simmons, and the running joke from what I could tell so far from the review of the next episode and the one that was on is that you could never tell which one's which because they're both, one's called Fitz, one's called Simmons. So obviously, when you say it, it was like Fitzsimmons,
Fitzsimmons,
but no one could tell which one. Anyway, even though they're a guy and a girl, for some reason no one could tell. Anyway, so everyone's moaning about their character development, which I'm already annoyed at because it's been 2 episodes now, and people are moaning about the way the show's running, right?
Wait, and so it's an American show. So how far are the Americans in it?
What do you mean?
Like, is it coming out here as it comes out there?
It comes out here It comes out here. It goes out there.
So
on
it's being
Tuesday.
released entirely. Like they're getting it on one day. We're getting it on another day that
and
week.
a few days after. Yeah.
Right.
So it's already aired in America. Hasn't aired here.
Right. That's
here
fair enough.
Yeah. So
because I mean, a lot of shows don't get like that until a few seasons in.
That's why.
Friends even took like 5 or 6 seasons to actually start coming out at the same time.
Yeah.
And that's one of the most popular sitcoms ever made.
Yeah, so that's like a good 4 days, and then we got it. So
I suppose. Because it's based on the Avengers, and the Avengers is already worldwide.
The ratings apparently went down for the second episode from what I read and stuff, and everyone's already moaning. And it just bugs me that it's like they've built up this series to be like the Avengers, which I don't understand. Like, I went in this actually thinking it's going to be terrible and thought it was good. I think everyone here thought it was going to be amazing and then are disappointed by it. I'm the opposite. What they should have done is go my way about it. Looked at it terribly and be like, this is never going to work, and then get surprised.
That's the thing as well, is that like. Especially when you've got the 2 episodes that work better as one episode.
Yeah.
Never judge any show based on the first 2 episodes. Because the pilot has got an unformed idea, and the second episode suffers from not ever being as good as the pilot. So, I would say don't judge the show overall until they're like 5 episodes in. Because that's when you're already in it. Everyone knows who they are. Everyone knows what they're supposed to be doing. If it's still bad then, that's when you stop watching.
Well, see, I'm with you as well, because they're also moaning about the comedy in it. Apparently it's too funny. Now, I'm moaning
What's wrong with it being funny?
Now, I'm moaning about that because, like, I don't want it to be action. I mean, like, the thing I like about the Marvel films is, like, especially with Iron Man and stuff.
Dialogue.
It becomes funny. Like, I like when they throw out some random things. And Coulson's funny because he says random lines that, like, when I first see him in, like, Iron Man, like, he looks really serious. But then when he comes out with funny lines in, like, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Avengers and stuff, you're just like, ha! That's what I didn't expect from him. Like when you see him in Avengers, where it's just like, so that's what it does when he blasts Loki through a door. That was my annoying part was I didn't like Coulson until Avengers, which is a heartbreaking moment because it was also the time that he died. So I went in thinking, oh, this guy again, and then he died, and I was like, oh my god, what have I done?
You've killed him.
Bring him back. And then like now they brought Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. and like I like it, but I did say when it started that they have to have a damn good reason for him to come back because his death was really good. It was well done, but I didn't.
That'll probably be the actual main plot of the first season, probably.
Yeah, that's what I want it to be.
Because I mean, there's going to be some villain, obviously. Yeah. There's going to be some shit goes down.
Well, from what I've seen, like they did give you a trailer of what was meant to be coming up in the season, and there's this one thing that I thought was awesome. Like just this one little tiny clip. It's these guys with like a red mask on. I think they're meant to be like followers of Red Skull kind of thing. And I'm like, oh my god, that looks amazing. Like
that's interesting.
Maybe they've seen him in like an old 40s film or something, or maybe Hydra's still carrying on now. You don't really hear much from it, but you would definitely think that maybe Hydra's there. So maybe terrorists are starting to try and do it. We don't even know what happened to Red Skull. I think teleported.
Yeah, well, I mean, it could be like he's starting up some sort of terrorist sect that's like...
Because you haven't seen that. You didn't see Captain America, did you?
No.
Alright, well, I should tell you now. In Captain America, when they're on a ship that Captain America's about to go down on, and Captain America throws his shield, and the point is they're using the Cosmic Cube to make weapons. Like the Tesseract that you see in Avengers.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
That's the weapon that's in Captain America, which is why it was built into it, right? Now the point is they're trying to make weapons because it's got like energy in that you see in Avengers. But at one point, Captain America knocks it over, and Red Skull picks it up, and then this is where you start to get confused, because then all of a sudden the sort of space opens up where you start seeing stars and things, sort of like the bridge in Thor. You know, when they're going through, like, you know, it looks like they're going through time and space and that kind of thing. So then you sort of starts to disintegrate, but then you see a blast of it going up into the random space, and it goes away.
So it could be like teleportation.
Sort of like what happened to Loki, how he randomly runs into, you know, like the Thanos gang and all those, like the Chitauri and stuff.
Yeah.
Fuck knows what they're doing with Thanos as well.
Yeah, because that seems like they needed... That's it, because, I mean, as far as I don't know the Avengers bad guys.
Yeah.
I don't know that many Marvel bad guys except for, like, Spider-Man's bad guys.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even play a part in the Avengers or anything.
Like, I knew kind of... Like, I knew who Thanos looked like, but I didn't know who he was. Like, when I saw the guy's face, it took me a minute. I was like, is that Hulk? Is that like a purple Hulk? And then I went home and realised, like, after I typed in who it was, and, like, obviously Wikipedia told you it was Thanos, and I was like, who's Thanos? Then I reminded myself, because, like, just recently before Avengers came out, he played a big part in this thing called the Infinite Gauntlet, or the Infinity Gauntlet.
The Infinity Gauntlet.
That's the one. And
just because that sounds better, so I'm assuming that's what it is.
I think it's the Infinity Gauntlet. Now, the point of that, the only reason I looked up that is because in Thor, there's a tiny part, like in the background or something, you see the Infinity Gauntlet. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then obviously now that I've seen Thanos, I'm like, could they be making those two things happen together? But now I'm hearing that it's Age of Ultron in the Avengers sequel, so nothing to do with Thanos. But at the same time, there's that new Guardians of the Galaxy, and that might have something to do with him. But whether he'll actually play a villain in that, because Karen Gillan's
what I'm more interested to see is, like, obviously they're not going to be able to have all the actors be all the people all the time.
Yeah.
Eventually, they're going to have to start bringing in the other members of the Avengers, and some are going to have to leave because they're going to have other things going on.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I want to see, like, not Avengers 2, I want to see Avengers 3.
Yeah.
Because that, I think, is going to have the most difference. Because, like, I think Avengers 2 is going to be very similar, but, like, with... obviously, how they do the bad guy and stuff, that all depends on that. But I think it's going to be very similar to Avengers 1. But I think Avengers 3, when they've got even more films done, is going to be vastly different.
Yeah, see, I want 3 phases, because that's how they do it. Phase 1 was all those films, then Avengers, and then Phase 2 is obviously Iron Man, Thor, Captain America, Guardians of the Galaxy, and then Avengers 2. And then after that, it's Ant-Man, and another
some really random picks as
well.
Well,
see, like Ant-Man was one of the first Avengers, and yet I just never liked him. And the only reason I don't like him, and anyone can get annoyed with me, all these nerds can get annoyed with me if they want, but my only interpretation that I know of Ant-Man was in Ultimates. Now, the reason I don't like him in that is because he technically he's like a bit psychotic, and he didn't beat his wife in a way. His wife is Wasp, who's like, do you know?
Yeah.
He like sprays her with bug spray and that, practically choking her. I mean, he apologised for that, and they all made up, and they got, you know, everything was fine. But I still got pissed off. I was like, you're meant to be a fucking superhero, and like maybe he wasn't supposed to be in that way.
To be fair, they are trying to be like, yes, they are superheroes that can do ridiculously impressive things, but they are also still kind of human.
Yeah, the realism thing about that.
And I think that's a kind of endearing quality, because like you have Ant-Man fucking abusing his wife, but then saving the world.
Yeah.
Can you call him a bad guy? Yes. Can you call him a superhero? Yes. But he's more than that. He's human. I'm assuming he's human. Yeah. I don't actually know much about Ant-Man. He could be one of the alien people.
I thought, like, I think when I was young, I thought he just grew big and small. But now I think the point is that his suit does it for him. I'm so confused.
I don't know.
I need to. I'll wait for the film to come out, because that seems.
The film will explain it concisely and basically for you.
Yeah, because every time I say that film looks terrible, so far, and then all the Marvel films, it's turned out to be genius.
Yeah, and I mean, I remember how much you were like wetting yourself with anticipation over Dark Knight Rises, and I was like, it doesn't even compare favourably to Batman Begins. Like.
See, I'm still alright with Dark Knight Rises to a point. A lot of things
again, it was one of those things, like, the two films that were coming out really close together, Avengers and Dark Knight Rises, both of the times the hype failed them.
Yeah.
It just so happened that the Avengers happened to be a better movie. And that was it. Like, the Avengers was a better movie, so the fact that its hype was too much didn't they affect it too much? The fact that The Dark Knight Rises was not as good as the Avengers meant that the hype it got really diminished its quality for me. Because I was like, I remember when I wrote on Facebook, like, as soon as I came back, we watched Dark Knight Rises, 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10 for Dark Knight Rises. Because, I mean, it was just, like, fucking... Dark Knight gets 8, and Batman Begins gets 7. That's fucking... Dark Knight Rises got 6 out of 10, and I have not wavered from that opinion since.
See, now, Avengers and that's all kind of worked in a realism way. Like, they're all, it's kind of fantasy, but it's in a logical way.
Yeah,
like, Thor is from
it's
another
fantasy
dimension.
presented in a way that makes it believable.
Yeah, like Captain America, you got frozen, you got a serum. Like that, it's not like he had these powers, not like Superman and stuff. Now, when it comes to like stuff like Batman, I think they should have went the opposite way. You should have went fantasy. I mean, the realism was good in Dark Knight and Batman Begins, but I want this Batman to be more fantasy. I want to see a Killer Croc. I want to see a Mr. Freeze, like a good Mr. Freeze. I want to see the villains that seem so outlandish. Like, maybe not so outlandish, not the crazy fucking ones that you're just like, fucking, you chose that one, you chose Man-Bat.
Man-Bat. I'd love to see a live-action Man-Bat.
I kind of want to. Now that I've said it, I do.
Because that would be brilliant, because it would be so ridiculous. Like, there's just no way you can make that real.
Yeah.
Like, ever.
Batman's just one of the things where I just like, his Batman, even though in the comics, like, his villains are, like, they're logical ways. Like, Man-Bat is made again from a serum. Like, he wasn't born that way.
Yeah, but it wouldn't work the way it works.
Yeah, no, it would actually be more like Amazing Spider-Man than it would be anything else, because that's if fucking Lizard gets made.
Yeah, the Lizard sort of has that weird thing. But again, even that, still, I don't really buy. I think it would be more it would be like a gradual thing. Then the wings would sort of sprout, and then.
But see, like I say, I want it outlandish. What I mean is, like, I want it realism, but I want it to still be
comic booky.
Yeah, like
I want it to still feel like it's on the page,
kind of thing. Yeah, like I want like when they say there's this assassin's coming and stuff, like, oh look, Deathstroke's coming. I want it to feel like they're like, yeah, he could be an assassin in real life, but we want him to be a fucking like as crazy as he is in the comic and as badass as that. Yeah. Like when Bane, like I mean, Tom Hardy's Bane, like was the best part of Dark Knight Rises for me.
And it was a completely different Bane to any other representation of Bane.
Yeah,
like nobody represented Bane that way ever before.
No, and I don't think they ever will again. And
I mean, did he even have lines in the other versions that he's been in?
The thing is, he talks a lot in the comics. Like when you first meet Bane, like he talks like he's smart and stuff, and he doesn't talk like a complete stupid, ridiculous creature.
But they dumbed him down.
Oh, I don't know what the fuck they were thinking of Batman and Robin. But I was watching the clips. I'm for the podcast that I'm doing for college. Obviously, I'm doing the Batman films. Now that's going from 60s. I've decided I'm doing the 60s movie. And then,
wait, are you touching on the TV show before that, or?
I would touch on the movie and the movie and TV show.
Because I mean, the movie's based.
Yeah. And obviously, I would touch on the 90s movies and the 2000s. Now, for the fucking I watched a clip of Batman and Robin. I've got it somewhere on video hiding away, and I haven't looked at it since for a long fucking time. But the one clip I saw is him fucking putting bombs down for Poison Ivy or Mr. Freeze and shit, and all you hear is a going bomb. He's fucking saying what he's putting down for some fucking reason. He didn't need it. It's like every fucking child couldn't understand what the fuck he was putting down, even though they said put those bombs down, Bane. So he's like, it's like he's a child that has to be said. He's like bomb, and he sounds like a fucking smoker. You have Harry Potter rants. I'll have fucking this for fuck's sake, Bane. Ah! Right. Anyway. We're running out of time, I am afraid, on my...
Oh dear, the recorder's dying, we better get this done.
I was actually worried, I was like, man, I don't know if we're going to get an hour out of this. We've managed to record for like nearly 2 hours as far as I'm aware, although I am reading the numbers upside down. But what I will say, right, covering Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., what pissed me off about DC is they have announced that they want to do a Gotham TV show, and they're doing it with Fox. Now here's the bunch of reasons why I don't like that. I'm not even American, and I know that Fox cancels everything really quick. So that's already the one thing. Now the second thing is, no Batman in this Gotham. It's all about Commissioner Gordon and his adventures before Batman. But it's still going to have the villains of Batman in there.
See, that just wouldn't work.
It doesn't work. It doesn't make any sense, because what's the point in fucking Batman if you're able to take these villains down? If you didn't need him, why the fuck is he going to be there?
If you didn't need him, you wouldn't support him.
Exactly. And it's...
But is it like is it going to be like before Batman comes in there,
Like,
or is it going to
apparently-
be Batman's
I hope.
dead, or-
If they're going to be smart, do it while Batman's there. Maybe have maybe just hints of him being there, and like have it sort of like they have to deal with the rundown of a Batman world. But right now, from what they're describing, Batman isn't there. They're doing a Smallville thing. Now I can't rant about Smallville like I want to. Trust me, that'll come in a different podcast because I've got a lot to say about that. But they seem to be doing like a sort of Smallville thing where there's no capes, no Batman. But I think that's stupid because
But as well, DC already have the fucking Arrow show going on the CW.
I've watched
How will
fantastic.
I mean, I loved it. I mean, I didn't think I would even
Neither did
like
I.
it, but I watched it. I was like, "Fuck, I like this show." But like, how are they going to work the Gotham Fox show when they've got this like hyper realistic Arrow show going on?
They're also
like,
making a Flash show now because of the Arrow show. Because like they were originally going to make a Flash movie, and now it's going to get put into the second, like the Barry Allen, or I think it's Barry Allen. It's going to get introduced in the Arrow second season. So now
I thought they were doing the whole no superheroes thing.
See, that's what everyone thinks, but now I think they sort of changed their mind only because now we think that the guy who's playing Arrow might play Green Arrow in Justice League. 'Cause he's expressed interest.
Well, you see,
And
that would work.
You might as well
because you
he's
would
doing
have
it.
this background to start with.
And like wouldn't be like Agents of Shield where you're making a spin-off from that. You're technically, if anything, Justice League's the spin-off for Arrow at this point.
But isn't the guy that John Barrowman played? Isn't he like one of the main villains of the Green Arrow?
Yeah, he played the Dark Archer. But
so having him be dead.
see, I don't know. I'm still. I don't know if he's dead or
Oh
not.
no, he's dead. Because the Green Arrow wouldn't just let him lie there bleeding out. He would have made sure he was dead.
Well, in his defence, the town was blowing up around him. I don't really think he had time to be like, after taking out, being like, I'll stab you and then I'll look in the distance.
Yeah, to be fair.
And not only that, this is also, he's also had a lot of training. Like, he could easily, if I'm being writing John Barrowman's character, I would say like, he could easily stop his heart. He could stop his heart.
Yeah, just like...
He could pretend to be dead. He could do whatever he wants. Like, but the thing is, what would make it interesting for that is, even if he is alive, he'd have to pretend to be dead. Like, he'd have to build his empire from the ground up. Anyway, that's getting ahead of it. The Gotham show seems ridiculous, mostly because it's just a fucking cop show with a gimmick. And the gimmick is it's in Gotham. And
It's
got
basically
James
Law
Gordon.
and Order Gotham.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems ridiculous. Like, I mean, I like James Gordon. I want to see more of him in it. Yeah, like if he had a spin-off show, great. But I'd love it to be a spin-off show while Batman's around. Maybe you can't have Batman in the show a lot. Maybe just a reference to him.
Yeah.
But to have a show based in a world where Batman is existing and you're having to think about how, when you're thinking about how the life that fucking Gordon has to go through, where Joker's blowing up a town away and fucking Batman's beat him, but the fucking place is a state. Criminals got busted out of jail because Bane blew up a bomb. I mean, the fucking life that he must have to go through. The fact that he's still commissioner makes me surprised. So I want to know what the fuck's going on with this
That's
life.
another thing. Will it be Gary Oldman?
I doubt it'll be Gary Oldman. Oh,
That would be fucking awesome if they
it was,
kept it going
if
like
it
that.
was, it'd be great.
Fox
but-
would have no choice but to keep that show going as well if it was Gary Oldman, because he'd be like, I want my fucking paycheck, bitch. Like,
But yeah, like that's my biggest problems. Anyway,
and wait, another thing about that Arrow show that I forgot what I was gonna say though. Fuck, I had a point to make.
I'm liking the fact that Deathstroke's in it.
That's the point. The point was, I thought the whole first season was going to be telling the backstory of how he became the Arrow and how he got off the island, right?
Yeah.
But it only tells you like the first 2 years of him on the island. Apparently he was on the island for 5 years.
Yeah.
The first series only
That's
tells you
all
the
it-
first 2 years of him being on the
That-
island.
That's what I love about the show. Like, I didn't expect to like it that much, but honestly, it's the fact that everything about it was, now I'm going to say it, better than Smallville. Has the fight,
Better than
but more
Smallville.
like it's not just fucking pushing people.
The thing is, that the thing about Smallville that really pissed me off is that like Clark Kent could not be in danger in Smallville
Yeah.
because he becomes Superman. And
Yeah.
that's it. At the end of the day, he becomes Superman after the show finishes.
Yeah.
So he can't die. There's no drama. I mean, Superman's already hard enough to kill.
Yeah.
But in a show where you know he's going to go on to be Superman, you know nothing bad's going to... Like, where is the drama in that show?
Exactly. I mean, I love everything about it. What they've done with Arrow has been fantastic. And like, if I'm not even going to be that bothered. I mean, for all I know, they might only be adding Barry Allen and having a bit of superhero reference, and then maybe he goes away and then it goes back to the way it was. But I don't mind them doing a.
I mean, I'm quite happy for them to have the other DC character, the superhero characters in it. But I think it would be a bad idea to have Superman anywhere near it.
No, I don't think they're going to have that. Although I think they made, like, my brother seems to think they made a reference. Although I've watched the season like twice, and I'm just missing it every time.
I think they've made reference to the city.
But
not
my brother.
Superman.
My brother seems to be under the impression that they made a reference to a red cape, and obviously Superman has a red cape. And I'm trying to remember, and I don't think so. But
I'll have to go back and rewatch it.
I'll have to look at it again. But I think the second season in America starts in 50 days.
Like you've been counting fucking down the seconds and shit.
I wish I could say it wasn't, but it's because I'm on a Facebook page where it tells you. Oh wait, no, I think I'm wrong actually. I think it's less than that for Arrow, but it's 50 days till Doctor Who.
Because you've got things I'm sort of waiting for. There's the Doctor Who 50th anniversary edition.
Yeah.
Because I want to know how John Hurt fits into it. Because I'm like, you've got Peter Capaldi being the next Doctor. Where the fuck is John Hurt in that scenario?
Oh, it looks so good.
Like How I Met Your Mother's back now. They're on episode like 4 or 3 or 4. So I'm like, yay for that.
The mother's been introduced.
That's what's really weird about this season. I don't think this season needed to happen at all. They could have ended it on the 8th one, but I think the way they're doing this last season is a good thing. Supernatural's coming back soon.
I need to catch up on that.
Supernatural, fucking amazing.
I'm on season 6. Like halfway through, and I've yet to get past it because I keep getting distracted with other shows, and I'm like,
the way it's going is like, I really liked the first 2 seasons when there was much more variety in what they were fighting against.
Yeah.
But now that they're on this path that they've set themselves, I think the way the last season ended was fucking amazing.
Yeah,
it was phenomenal.
It was when I read, like, when I first, like, so the only reason I went back into the only reason I got into Supernatural was because I was in a Constantine mood. Now, to be in a Constantine mood, Castiel.
Yes.
His costume is based on Constantine. I learned that from lots of Wikipedia pages.
You wouldn't even know it to really look at.
Not really. It's like, the only thing you could say is because of the coat, because it's based on like the comics version, not the Keanu Reeves film. So like the kind of the sort of creamy coat, that's based on the comics partly because the guy liked Constantine. So then obviously I started watching thinking, I wonder if it's like Constantine. Yeah. And then I got really into it. Now,
I remember seeing lots of stuff on Tumblr about Supernatural and about those 3 characters. I'm like, Castiel doesn't even show up until like the end of the 3rd season or the start of the 4th season or something. I'm like,
that's why I had to go through everything just to get to him.
What? This guy's obviously such an important character. He's not even in the show.
But yeah, like when I know the original idea was to end it on season 5, like that. Then when they ended it, I thought it would make a good ending. I mean,
I think they had really good closure points, like about 3 times so far.
Yeah.
The fucking I really I hated the whole Leviathan storyline.
Yeah.
I thought that was just like, it feels like that was a filler for what they were gonna. The whole season was a filler for what they wanted to do after it.
Exactly. But yeah, like when for the end of that 5th season, I was all like, oh well, that led into like a good ending. What more could they do with that? And then obviously I started the 6th season and stuff, and I'm like, oh, interesting. And I think I'm on an episode where just after the episode, I think they found out that Sam has lost his soul, obviously, because they just properly figured it out. And I started to get back into it. That's like the last thing I remember, so I need to get. I'll get back in it.
That was a really interesting concept as well. I mean, the version of the show that they've made is now there's angels and demons and shit.
Yeah.
And so killing them, and so like instead of just killing them, taking his soul away was a really interesting thing to do because you can do that when you've acknowledged that there's heaven and hell and shit like that. And I'm just like, it's such a strange concept. And I was just like I hope that it doesn't go on for too much longer. I hope like maybe this season and then this season coming and then at most one more. I really hope they don't, because I think they're gonna come into problems if they try and keep it going after.
I remember after reading they said season 5, and then apparently got convinced to do more. I think he did say he was aiming for 10, but I don't know. I don't know if he'll even get to 10.
You don't need 10.
I think 10's just because like that's what most shows get. Like Friends got 10. What else got 10? There was something else. What's the bloody show I'm thinking of?
I don't know.
Yeah, do I?
I'm just
more show like 10's usually. Oh yeah, Smallville.
It
was like because I hated it that much, I tried to block out my memory. It's like most of the big shows get like a good 10 seasons. Like more like some law dramas and things like that. They go way over 10.
Yeah, but
Because they can
you've got
afford to.
CSI. The original CSI is on series like 14 now.
Yeah,
And Miami finished after like 11.
and like South Park, obviously, way past 10.
But yeah, South Park, the new season started, and I didn't even know. And I'm just like, okay. Because, I mean, it's been getting progressively not as good as it used to be. But not in a really, like, The Simpsons, like, you know, that's been going for like 25 years or something.
Yeah.
That, like, when around about the time the movie came out, the show, like, seriously dropped in quality for me.
Yeah.
But like South Park, it was much more gradual. It was kind of just like they were getting fed up making it.
Yeah.
And which is actually true. They are fed up making the show. And that shows. Like, and I'm just like, I remember watching, if you watch the first sort of 10 seasons,
Yeah.
it's fucking hilarious from start to finish. After that, it starts to get, like, you start to have episodes here and there that weren't as good. I mean, obviously you have some episodes of the show that aren't quite as good, but like, it got really bad for certain episodes, and then it's like it still had a general overall quality, but now it's getting less and less and less. I'm just hoping this last one, like this next one, sorry, I think they're going for another like 2 years after this. I hope they pick it up so that it's better, and then it ends on a high note. Because having this wee dip would be okay if we know that it ends on a high note.
See, I can barely remember much South Park because I only like I don't have any DVDs or anything, and I only see bits pieces that ever came on like Viva and Comedy Central.
Like South Park, it's like there's no overarching plot. It's an episodic show in the most obvious way.
Yeah, but I remember my favourite episodes were the Raccoon episodes, where he becomes the raccoon.
Oh yeah, because there was the one episode where he introduced it.
Yeah.
And then there was like the 3-part episode with all the superheroes.
Yeah.
Like, and he befriends Cthulhu
Yeah.
and shit.
So
I
it's
mean,
like kind of
those
random.
were really good episodes, but they were during a time where the show was decreasing in
That's
quality.
right, because I don't. That's what I'm saying. Like I don't remember much, and I don't remember being interested. But those ones captured my imagination.
Yeah. I mean, the Series 16 had a few episodes that were really, really good, especially earlier on. Like, there was this one, the first one, Cash for Gold, had this, it was
Someone mentioned
really
this
dark, and it was really awesome because it was like, this is so fucked up. Like, but it was a lot more subtle than a lot of their other fucked up episodes that they've had. Like the one where Cartman goes nuts and is killing off his own dolls. And shit, and I was like, that's really fucking fucked up. Because that's what I love about South Park, is you've got this character who's kind of inconsistent. Like, on the one hand, he's just this really kind of racist, like, anti-everything little kid who's just a prick.
Yeah.
But then, in other times, he's a fucking raging psychotic who will kill your parents and feed them to you.
Oh yeah, 'cause I remember.
And it's just like, but everybody just sort of tolerates him still.
I know.
He's killed people, and they're just like, whatever. It's South Park. Things happen.
Oh, right. We should probably wrap it up there.
Are we running out of time?
I think we're running out of time.
Is
Got
it
more
still
minutes.
recording?
As far as I'm aware, we got. Yep, we're still recording.
Alright, we're safe. Alright then.
Yep.
Alright, how'd you wrap up your show? Did you think of an outro?
Not really. I was just gonna say that's good. I'm trying to think. There's one thing I want to say before I go.
Have a wee Jerry Springer final thought moment.
One more wee story. Let's see. Pretty sure there was one other thing I was going to bring up. Nope, guess not.
I guess not. Well, this has been fun.
Oh, well. You've been listening to Hashtag Steve's Tea, the show not about cooking, about life and other such nonsense that we find and talk about.
You know, a lot of people, I'm sorry to ruin your outro, a lot of people don't know that tea is another word for evening meal.
What do they think it means?
Tea, the drink.
Oh, yeah.
Because a lot of people...
See, that sounds even better.
See, that's a colloquialism thing,
yeah.
where it's like tea, it means the drink tea, but it also means dinner, like, it also means the evening meal at the end of the day.
Yeah, I suppose. I
So
didn't
it's
even
like,
think of that. I went
see,
right to fucking...
You were just like, I'm going to make a joke about cooking, and then you're like, no, nothing about the sipping of the tea.
Well, I could just leave that blank and let them think about it now. That's great, because I've been thinking, like, I'm going to have to explain every fucking episode that it's not a cooking show. But now I don't need to, because I could be drinking tea and do this podcast. They don't fucking know. Woo! You just solved the fucking problem.
I can't
can't believe I didn't
conundrum.
think of even the way I spell it and shit. Ah, bugger.
It's okay. It's okay. Nothing's wrong. You've succeeded We've recorded. Now let's wrap this thing up properly.
Okay. Well, right.
Let's put a wee bow on it.
Wrap this up like a Christmas present. All right. Well, hope you've enjoyed the show. You're laughing. Why are you laughing?
That was just pathetic.
I don't know what you want me to do.
Be better. Be more enthused. Be more enthused.
I love how you're, you should do this thing. Do what you're doing. Just be better.
Faster, more intense.
I've never done an outro before.
My experience.
Wait, next time we will have to talk about your Alcoholic Nerdgasm shows. We'll have to get at least Donald and Stephen talking about what you guys do, because I find it interesting. I can't believe I didn't pay more attention before. Although I will say it's mostly your episodes compared to no offense to them. It's just I find you funny.
Well, that's
the way you bounce off each other when you're in the show. I find funny.
Especially with me and Steve's little Final Fantasy episodes.
And I will cover that next podcast as well. And you're away to America next week, isn't it?
Yeah, I leave 1 week today, actually.
So we might, we'll probably get another episode on next time you come back. God knows when that'll be. But I won't lie to the audience that this won't be a weekly thing.
It's going to be quasi-weekly.
Yeah, we'll see how this goes. It really, because I've got a mega writer. I can come back and forward usually whenever. It just depends on what I'm doing, what you're doing, when you can be available, how long.
Because in general, me and Donald and that we record on Saturdays mostly.
Yeah.
So Saturdays is kind of a dodgy day because we go straight from recording to drinking.
Yeah.
And then so Fridays are usually good for me, but sometimes I like to use it for my own stuff.
Other things. You've got college as well, obviously. So
I've got college work as well, but I do most of that at the college.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of basic stuff.
The other main thing I will say is, right now we're recording in my mum's house. Now my mum and her boyfriend aren't in at the moment, but they could always come back on another day. So we never know if it'll be as quiet as this. Maybe a phone will ring. Maybe my mum in high heels will walk by because it's a wooden fucking floor and shit. We'd have to go in my room and stuff. I mean, it might still be okay to hear things, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. We'll just have to see that. So far, I think it's been more successful than I assumed it would be. When I was like,
we're going to struggle to talk.
I know. I was like, I've never done a podcast before, and I've not really spoken on a microphone apart from on radio. And
you've got a seasoned professional sitting next to you, though, so you're all right.
It was, and honestly, I will give all credit to Kevin Smith, who just mentioned, when I thought of podcast, I thought you really had to properly fucking plan it. You had to get a script ready.
No, it's about having things to talk about. If you've got things to talk about, you can make a podcast.
When he described it as just a conversation with your friend, I was like, fuck yeah, I can do that.
Anybody can do that.
We talk about that all the time.
I mean, did you listen to Swatchcast? it was us getting drunk and talking shit.
Yeah. And that's it for our second episode of #Steve's Tea. Be sure to follow us on Twitter. I am under Dark Lord of All.
And I'm at Brother Phildelf. That's all one word.
Yeah, all one word with Dark Lord of All. You just search me on the search bar. I'm the only one there. It's Dark Lord of All 92, I should mention.
And Brother Phildelf. Who else is that? Who else could that be?
Alright, so we shall see you in the future. Ciao for now.